Hey, what's up guys? It's Armin again here and this is coffee time. Welcome back and today is Saturday 21 January and this is again from Netherlands. And guys, without further ado, let's check what we want to do. We want to make a deal with test. If you stay with me, this is enough in 30 minutes in C# to get the point. What is test and what's the meaning of test and Moqing in C#? We have that everywhere as a unit test, but here in C# I'm going to test my our endpoint, our API, and Moqing. And what's the point here? The point here, if you watch videos of my channel, you know what is this. This is a simple project and this is a controller get method and it accept ID and it's going to our database for search that number, and if there is some ID like that, for example I want to say ID1, and it's going to search in database and take that for me. And let me show you my database very quickly. And this is our bridge to database test data 6, and these are tables. I'm going to employee, I say this, and this is our table. We have ID1, we have to make a deal with ID1, and employee name is this, and this is from previous videos. And now we want to make test method for this controller, okay? But first of all, let me show you something. We have here to make a deal with action result and action result, and just empty. If you go and search action result as action result, you see these are two interfaces, and yeah, there are some differences between those two, and if you like that, you can read about it on Google, but that's not the point. But this is important because each of these those interface has some methods, and those are different, okay? And now here we have here method action result get, and it's going to accept ID, go to the database and return back, and okay, you want to say this is okay object, okay result, okay object result, or okay result, something like that. Also there are differences between those two, but this is the case. Now I have here a mock test here. If you go there, where was that NuGet, and you're gonna find it where somewhere there, installed in those two, okay, XUnit. And now here is it. This is test, and for those who like to know, for example, I have here a project, and if I want to add a test project here, I right click there and I say add a new project. And here, for example, I want to say here test, I want you to add a new project as a test into my project here, and it's going to find for you. I have now one here, and you add it to your project also, and like this, okay? And now I go here, and this is a standard thing for test. Here is a method, fact, and that's the thing, okay? What I want to do now, I want now to show you something, how structure, how our program works. Look, I have here an interface, and that interface named iEmployee. I made it generics, and it has two methods, get one and this, and in other class I implement those methods here. It has connection, application DB context, and here I have simple implementation for get one because I want to make deal with this. and here I add also those two in my container in my service program to recognize them. I suppose these are things you know all about if you saw these videos in this channel. And now we want to, okay, with other words, we have now here employee interface, and we have a data connection, database connection, application context. Okay, we have two things here in my unit test. I have two or more possibilities. I can now make here a constructor and two things. Let me say I want to inject my interface and those things, and for that I want to say here private read only. If I can copy it from somewhere, I don't know, I don't have it for from somewhere. I say here mock I say here mock, and in that mock I want to inject, or I say where is my employee interface, and in my, because that is a generic type of that, and that is going to have with employee. And here I like to say, guys, my keyboard is very bad, and that's why if you see when I type wrongs or something like that, that's why I have really bad keyboard here right now, and sorry for that. And I want to say here, this is, for example, mock repo. For example, name, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'm going to copy this. And now here in test, what's the meaning of test? I have to import all things what I need here in this class, and here work with them, and just they say that Schumler. Okay, here I want to say I need my employee interface. It contains also application DB context, and to test my controller I need also my controller. Okay, and I want to say now here here I want to say what is the name of my controller, that is employee controller, employee controller, and the name also controller underscore controller. And here I want now to make a constructor for this class, and constructor here name is the same as the class name, and it accept nothing. It accept nothing, but here it can also accept something, but I don't want to accept something. Okay, I want to say here now my mock repo is equal to new this. Good, bro. Okay, and this is exactly the same. Okay, if you, okay, that's up to you how you want to use it. Underline controller is equal to new employee controller, and in my employee controller here, it accepts something. It accepts in controller as a constructor, it accepts an interface. Okay, here interface, and I have now passed this interface there, and that is nothing and more and mean that this one, because it accepts this object, and I give it to him, and I say here object. Okay, this is just standard setup, and now I have my controller here. I have my interface which has database connection to database, and now here I have also a method that I want now to work with this method. Here I have async, task, test, and let's start. We have many things to do here. Okay, this is a standard things what I want to say. Here I want to say I have here mock repo, and if I hit that, I have access to all those interface method. Okay, now here I have to make with setups, not setups, setup, And here I want to say, for example, repo or anything what you want. Dot, if I say repo dot, you see I have access to get one method which is implemented in my interface. Okay, I want to say repo get one, and I want to say, hey repo, go and find number one, which normally I sent via a request. Okay, and then I say dot return. When you call that with number one, I expect you return what you have in this case, to return new employee. Okay, because it wants to give me back a employee. If you saw there, it gives me a employee number one, which number, and that's the name. Okay, this is our standard setup, and here we have many things to do here also. This is a global thing. I say employee, but I didn't say which number and what's the name. Okay, let's go further. Here I want to say, because take a look here my controller is action result. Okay, now take a look, guys. First I call my repository with this. I say my repository going to call my database with one and see what is going back, and now I have do exact the same thing with my controller, and then I'm going to control, or these two are the same. This is the meaning of a test. Okay, and now let's say here I want now do exact the same call to my controller. Action result employee result is equal to controller dot, and now take a look here. I have now here also access to all those methods. Which method was that? Get method. And now go here and controller dot get method. Okay, and get method here I want to say you exact call, do your thing with one. And now in fact what happened here, I have exact two call, one to my repository going to send to database, and one my controller. And if those two are same, what I expect, it means test is passed, to say that. Okay, and now let's check here, because first of all I want to see what is when I call there, is that empty. First of all I want to say here var object res of object result is equal to result, my result, which is coming from my controller call dot take a look. Action result has two main method, two main things: one value, one result. Okay, you can go and read about them. If I explain that, it's really take a time. But here I want to say result. If result which is coming in the form of object is 200, 400, or let me say, okay, that take that as object result. Okay, take that like that, and then I want now to say assert dot first of all not null, let's see, or it's not null. Okay, like this. Let me see, let me rebuild it for sure. I say here I expect only employee. Okay, I right click here and I'm going to run the test, or see I get something, or see it say okay, that's here. Test it, this test is going to say okay, first of all, there is something coming. Say if I run my program in reality here, I say here, okay. If I'm coming here, where is it? Here. If I say search for ID 1, okay, when I execute this, it say object 200 success, okay, and this is type of employee. When I call there, okay, and now let's see, we want to see, look, in reality here is code 200, okay. Let's test about that code that which is 200 here in our test class. Okay, I want to say assert equal, okay, I want to say here 200, which is that code, and here obey. Here I take this one, I put it here dot status code. Okay, let's say what's the status code of, if you want also debug your test. If you want to debug your test also, you right click here your method and you say debug test, and now we want to debug the test and see how we get value and how we are be able to check more deeply. Okay, here is it. Here is what you if I say for example here, okay, object result status code 200. Okay, if I go further, you see this, okay, result. Okay, it has action result has two main methods. Result value is null here, but result, I want to say what is the status code, and in that result we have also null, you see. And if now, okay, let's go further, and you see this test also paste. Okay, and now I want to say here, I want to say, or is that 400? This should fail, and we should get red test on this line 29. Okay, let's test it, because our status code is not 400. If it's, we should get red. Yes, you see here it say expect 400, but the code is 200. What I'm doing, I say here do this 200. Guys, if you take a look in my database, I don't have here ID 3. Okay, if I go there and I want to say ID 3, and now this is not 200, this also should fail. Okay, and now let's run this again, because I expect 200 and it gives 400. What happened? Let me rebuild it. Get repo 3, controller 3. We don't have it. It's equal to 200 object result. Let's check this. Let's go further. Result. status code 200. I say here 30, and now clean it. Oh yeah, because it's type of. Okay, wait a moment. Here I want to say now ID is equal to 1. Okay, because it give me an employee back. Employee. Okay, and let's run this. Okay, I want to rebuild this. Okay, you see this here? You take this one and now we want now make a change. This is not the point. I want now here say I have here employee and you give me back like this, get one, get and here var result, you can go and now here here I want to say can go controller 1 result. Let's first of all now I have changed controller to the employee and here it's giving me something back. Okay, and now let's see it now here I want to say if I call number 1 the employee ID what I expect should be 1. Okay, first of all let's test this on that. Okay, it's okay, it's say controller number 1 and that's okay, not null. And now let me say underline mock repo dot verify. We can also change test on several parameters. See get 1. I want to see or this method called only once times dot once. Let's see or it calls once with this. Okay, it want to say if I say it called 10 times it should fail, huh? It failed, yeah. You say 0 time but expect 10 and it 1 times called and it failed. You say it's not 10 times called not 10 times, it's called 1 times. Okay, and here here let's see test it assert dot equal, let's see, or the object that is coming back, employee ID is 1. Let's test on that parameter, or employee ID is number 1. Okay, that is good. But if I say here employee is number 10, it should fail, because employee ID is 1. Okay, expected 10, but employee ID is 1. Because and now here I want to say employee name is equal to employee name. What was employee name? Employee name is this. Let's test on the name. Unit test, and I want to say here, and I copy this. I want to say oui. Here. What the heck is it now? So employee name here. It should give me a green one. Why? Let's see. Okay. Please rebuild it. What happened? Oh, here. Hey, damn it. Green. Green. If I say here, this, it should fail. You see? Exact, it's going to tell you, you see, these flashes, it say exact, it's going to tell you what's not okay in this unit test, okay? Guys, remember, when you say here, I expect only employee, it's going to be true in all possibilities, okay? You are going to say what you expecting, okay? And again, do not forget here I have now make a deal with employee, okay? If I say action result, that is something else, okay? Or for example, see here, exact say employee, see, you have no access directly there, because that is something else. And if I now change my controller to action result for MVC and those things, and you get something else, okay? And this is how you work with, and for example, this is now get method. We are, for example, if you take a look in other things, we are be able to test, for example, how many times save change calls, or this method is called or not. This is really beautiful, and this is in one video, and you know how you work with that, how you get values. You are be able to test on every parameters, what you think, what you imagine. Okay guys, and have a nice day, and see you in the next one. I don't think I have something else, no, and have a nice day. Ciao.